Welcome. Today I would like to give you a quick idea of acceptance and commitment therapy, short, ACT. ACT is a psychological intervention developed within a coherent theoretical and philosophical framework that has been shown to be effective for a diverse range of clinical conditions. The goal of this intervention is to increase psychological flexibility and by that maximizing human potential for a livable and meaningful life. Well, that sounds great, but how can we increase our psychological flexibility? By working on these 6 core principles of ACT: diffusion, acceptance, contact with the present moment, self as context, values, and committed action. This might sound rather abstract. Let me try to give you an idea of these principles one by one. In this video, I'll focus on self as context. You are yourself. But who exactly is yourself? In ACT, it can be useful to talk about 3 different forms of yourself: self as concept, self as process, and self as context. Self as concept means that there's a concept of yourself in your thoughts, which has a big impact on how you react and behave. Self as process relates to observing this concept and corresponding thoughts, without categorizing, evaluating, judging or predicting it. In other words, see what you see as you see it and not as you should see it. Self as context relates to an I here now perspective. Everything you have experienced, everything you are going through, everything you are going to experience in the future, you think about it, you live it from your own perspective, that is, I. From the actual moment you're in, that is, now, and from where it is you think that thought, that is, here. Now, I would like to give you an example of what I just said through a metaphor. Look at this apartment. Anna and Simon are living in it. There's a sofa, a clock on the wall, a table. It's quite easy, yet very cozy. After a while, Anna leaves the country to study abroad, so in her place, Tom moves in. He brings a little more of chaos into the flat, but the walls don't mind. They're still the walls, aren't they? 2 years later, Tom and Simon move out, and Chrissy moves in. She loves decorating the walls with fancy things, and she has a cat. She invites a lot of people to a lot of parties, so there's quite an amount of spots on the walls, but she cares about her flat, so she always cleans the walls. In other words now, your life changes. Everyone's does. There's many good things happening, but also some bad things. You might not always be happy, you might feel your mood swing, you might have rough arguments with people, you might be scared and nervous. At times you might be sick, and other times jump around of health. These changes are kind of like the changes of interior, of people and atmospheres the flat has experienced over years. Nonetheless, the flat's frame, the walls and the floors, have stayed the same. Well, maybe they've got some color or scratches on them, but in their basic construction, they are what they are and what they've been. The walls. Without them, the interior and people and atmospheres wouldn't have a place to be. They need the frame, they need the walls to hold them, but the walls don't need them to function as walls. Just like you don't need the concept of yourself in your head to function as you. And just like the walls, you can observe what's going on inside of you, all the thoughts and feelings you contain. Just like the walls, you can notice that it's possible not to struggle with what's inside of you, but just take it as a part of you. Now, what did you notice while watching this? How did you feel? Did something change for you or inside of you? That was one of many exercises ACT uses to undermine the power of destructive cognitive, emotional and behavioral processes. ACT can help you to change the relationship with painful thoughts and feelings, to develop a transcendent sense of self, to live in the present, and to take action guided by your deepest values, or to create a rich and meaningful life while accepting the struggle that inevitably goes with it.